Hey, and welcome to WUT, Wes's Useless Trivia. This is January 1st, 2019, the first of what I hope will be many editions of WUT. So today's WUT fact started with me just sort of reflecting randomly this morning upon what I perceive to be the ethereal melancholy of Jennifer Connelly, the actress. I think she's very talented, I'm a huge fan. Child of the 80s, love Labyrinth, Dark City, and Requiem for a Dream are perfect favorite movies of mine. But I've always felt that she brings a certain just unspoken sadness to a lot of her roles, even if they're not, overtly dramatic or sad. And that led me to just go to her Wikipedia page and just reminisce and check, and I'm like, what she'd been in lately, that sort of stuff. I hadn't really kept track of her career as of late. Did not know that she was married to Paul Bettany, and that has been going on for like 15 years. But hey, congratulations to them. But what I did see that was the what moment is that apparently the 1992 film Aladdin, the Disney classic, she was apparently the visual inspiration, at least in part, for Princess Jasmine. What? That is so random, and that is a trivia bit that I am going to be delighted to have with me for the rest of my life, and I hope you feel the same way too. Apart from the bottomless well of identity politics that presents, that's just a weird fact. It also brings up kind of a weird epistemic issue, which is, how can we be sure about anything in the age of the internet? I'm going to explain that. So, just to give you a brief overview here, in the Wikipedia article for Jennifer Connelly, the line where it mentions that she was the partial visual inspiration for Princess Jasmine, that is indeed sourced. However, there is a warning right next to that citation which says that a better citation is needed. If you then go and investigate and look at what that article is citing to support that claim, you can see pretty quickly why someone would believe that a better citation was needed. It's coming from a 2013 BuzzFeed listicle, like 19 things you never knew about Aladdin, and all it says is a verbatim, the verbatim line from Wikipedia saying, Jennifer Connelly was the model for Jasmine with a picture of Jennifer Connelly. That's it. No source materials there, so clearly not sufficient. So then what I did from there was to just Google Jennifer Connelly Jasmine, and the pages and pages of results, and most of them are just a rehash of that same listicle. Like, other people went to BuzzFeed and just copied that and threw it on their own list, that sort of thing. However, if you look into it further, there is another listicle, this one from People magazine in 2017, which mentions the same fact and gives you a little bit more background information. It says that the animator Mark Henn partially used Jennifer Connelly and partially used his sister, and it actually provides you with a link. If you follow that link, you're taken to a Google Books preview page for a book called Discovering the Magic Kingdom, an unofficial vacation guide to Disneyland. And it's self-published, or not quite self-published, it's put out by a book packaging firm on behalf of the author, Joshua Schaefer. And it's just, it's basically a book by an adult Disneyland superfan, telling you best times to go to the park, must-see attractions, ways to save money, best accommodations, trivia, background information about the movie, Walt Disney himself, how the park works, all that sort of stuff. Facts that are in there, things that, like, the height requirement for the Big Thunder Mountain Railroad is 102 centimeters. That's the kind of stuff that's in this book, all right? And underneath the Aladdin section, there is just, again, that one line that basically says, yes, Jasmine, modeled after Connelly, said so by Mark Henn, the animator, who also used his sister as another part of the model. From what I can gather, that specific fact within the book isn't itself sourced from anything. I spent way more time on this than I probably should have, or that any reasonable person would. But I will say that in the acknowledgement section of the book, Joshua Schaefer does note that he got most of his material about the Disney princesses from Wikipedia. So we're just sort of like snake eating its tail here. Wikipedia is offering no citation beyond the BuzzFeed article. BuzzFeed is not giving any source for that information whatsoever. People magazine is referring to this book, this book from 2010, and which was not peer reviewed. And then the book itself is saying, this probably came from Wikipedia. So it's kind of interesting. Again, the book came out in 2010, so it predates the BuzzFeed and the People article. But if we are to believe that the author got his material from Wikipedia, then we're wondering, where did that come from? I don't want to like go too hard on this. Like, this is a more or less self-published travel guide for people who want to go to Disneyland with their kids and see the most stuff for the least amount of money. It's fulfilling that very specific purpose, and by all accounts, based on the reviews, it does seem to be doing that very well. I don't want to hold this author or this book up to the same standards of, like, David McCullough history or something like that. But for the specific purposes of what I'm talking about here today, did want to note it. So the book has 8 reviews on Amazon, and 7 of them are glowing 5-star. Like, this really helped make my trip to Disney more fun and efficient. Thank you so much. Fantastic, right? The one dissenting review is a 2-star review that really does sort of take the book to task on its accuracy. It starts up, the book's title is Discovering the Magic Kingdom, and it sort of faults the book for being about Disneyland in Anaheim, California. So I wasn't too familiar. I've never been to any of the Disneys. But yeah, the Magic Kingdom is one of the theme parks in the Disney World Resort in Florida, and this book is all about the Disneyland theme park in Anaheim, so he's faulting him for that. I will say that I think that people use Magic Kingdom in a very broad sense. Sometimes to just refer to all of Disneylandia, like, all of it. So I'll let it slide on that, little poetic license, but whatever, it's something to note. And this reviewer specifically says that, in addition, much of the information is simply wrong. Facts from the book prove to be mostly retellings of stories or things that were heard, but unfortunately, Disneyland is full of apocryphal stories, and it seems minimal effort was made to keep them out of the book. In fact, many of the facts you'll find are poorly sourced ghost stories attached to nearly every ride. Some of these stories are even placed word for word in multiple places in the book. So yeah, someone who has read this book and apparently does know about Disney is basically calling BS on a lot of the information in it. So yeah, if this guy is saying that most of his information on the princesses came from Wikipedia, and that information is unsourced in Wikipedia, and he's furthermore being attacked by a reader who knows about Disney, who has read the book, by saying a lot of these facts are total BS, then yeah, just based on the Wikipedia and Google stuff that we've done, there really doesn't seem to be any solid basis for this being a true fact. I really can't say whether or not Jasmine was based on Jennifer Connelly. Which brings me to my last point. Just because something isn't on Google does not mean that it's either not true or that it doesn't exist. And that is a fallacy that I think a lot of people my age and younger increasingly fall into. Humanity has been around for a couple 100,000 years. The vast majority of what we have known and done and hold dear is not on the internet. We're working real hard to digitize everything, but there's a lot of important newsworthy stuff that never made it into the paper back in the day, and it didn't make it into the digitization of any kind of record in this day and age. So what I think most likely happened here is that this piece of information was actually said by Mark Henn in an interview, or behind the scenes sort of thing, released on VHS with Aladdin back in the day. Someone saw that and it's just been passed down. I'm not at all asserting that this is a fake fact, but I think that it does raise some interesting epistemic issues here. I was gonna make this entire video just about, like, oh man, isn't it crazy that Princess Jasmine her look was based on Jennifer Connelly? Mind blown. Which is a very minor but also kind of fun and slightly mind-blowing fact, at least for me. It's not new. That information, again, BuzzFeed had it on their website in 2013, people in 2017, so a lot of people have heard of this before. I realize it's not exactly groundbreaking, but as I was just going into more and more of this, I was like, I don't know if I can actually assert that that is a fact, because nothing immediately available to me on just a cursory search on the internet is able to actually verify that information. So while it's probably true, and I say that just because it's plausible, and who would make that up? Like, that would be a really weird, specific, unnecessary thing to fabricate. I could go deeper. I mean, if I really, really, really wanted to know, two things I could do is reach out to the author, Joshua Schaefer, and be like, hey, where'd you hear that? And take it from there. Or I could just cut to the chase and go on IMDb Pro, get Mark Henn's contact information, reach out to his office and be like, hey, is it true that you partially based Princess Jasmine on your sister? But I don't have that kind of time, and it really would. I don't want for it to not be right, because I do kind of want to live in a world where that insane fact is real, and it probably is. And yeah, all that is to say that this is just a video about how even if you're trying to do your due diligence and make sure that the trivia that you're trying to acquire and disseminate is actually accurate trivia, even if you do that, to a certain extent, unless you like actually get into the library, talk to some primary sources, get into LexisNexis, all this stuff, then sometimes you're just gonna have to sit with it. Like like they say, 47% of all statistics are made up on the spot. I'd say probably something like 17% of all useless trivia facts are made up on a drunken evening in a bar somewhere, because it'd be kind of cool if that thing were true, even if you're not sure. So that's what I have for you today. I have no idea what the rest of these are going to be like. I hope there are going to be more. I sort of just made a commitment in the new year to make stuff about trivia, and this is the first one out, so hope you liked it. If you did, look out for more. Wes Hazard on everything. And yeah, this has been WUT. That is Wes's Useless Trivia. See you next time.